Welcome to ecopenny. What's the best way of cutting these nugget pumpkins that I've grown in the garden? Should you just use any knife? No. Pumpkins are quite solid, quite hard. You need a decent knife to cut them. So I've recently bought a Santoku knife from SCANPAN, from Harris Scarfe. Bought this with my own money. So the Santoku knife is a Japanese style knife which is best for chopping hard vegetables. Got to be very careful of this, it's quite sharp. Best not for kids, best for adults only. There it is in all its glory. So it's best not to put this in the dishwasher, it's best to hand wash it, because if you put it in the dishwasher it can damage the fine blade. So the other thing with a Santoku knife, as well as just hand washing it and not dishwashing it, I'd recommend to put it back into its packet in the drawer. Don't leave it loose in a drawer because the blade will get damaged. So it is a higher quality, more expensive knife, so store it in its box when you're putting it away. It's quite sturdy, heavy knife. So when you're cutting, you've got to be safe. Basically, the action is to push the knife in and put your weight and push the knife down without having your hand underneath. So you want to stick it in, push down, stick it in, push down. I'll give you a demonstration in a minute. So having a quality knife actually makes the job quicker and easier. And what's better than cooking your own home grade veggies instead of wasting money going out to an expensive restaurant? It's much nicer to have your home cooked dinners. We've got our Santoku knife and the pumpkin. This applies for bigger pumpkins that just have more cuts. So we need the bottom of the pumpkin to be flat. Cut off this little stalk like that. One trick you can do is just to pop that into the microwave for a minute before you start. That softens it up. I find it helps. So the other one will chop its bottom off. Very careful to make sure your fingers aren't below the knife. So if it does slip, it's going to hit the chopping board. So it's out of the microwave, a minute on high. So all we're going to do is carefully put the point in on the top of the pumpkin, push down, point in, push down. I'll get it started. Very careful to make sure your hand isn't on this side, your hand's on the other side. Point in, push down. Once you've got a bit of a hole, you can put it in, put your hand on top a bit more, get a bit more leverage. We're getting there now. Point in, push down. Point in, lost the stalk. So you can put your body weight onto it a bit more once it's got a bit more of a crack. Point in, push down. Once you get to the other side, turn them over. If the stalk didn't fall off, you could chop it off. Do the same thing, point in, push down, point in, push down, almost in half. So once we've got a pumpkin in half, we can scoop out the seeds, send them to the green waste bin. There's one pumpkin half. Don't forget, on one pumpkin, without putting it in the microwave, it'll be a bit harder to chop, but save the seeds. So you can, on one of them, save the seeds, dry them, to plant next year's crop. so you can have a sustainable crop year after year. So there's our halves. And cut them into quarter, same thing. Blade in, push down. Point in, push down. Point in, push down. So you don't want to saw the knife, you want to put the point in, push down. Now if you're roasting them, you can leave the skin on, but you can take the skin off if you're not. So I'm going to roast these, but I'll take the skin off anyway. Once we've got our smaller pieces, you can just gently make sure they're flat. Just gently chip away, making sure the blade is away from your fingers. Just take your time. You feel how sharp this knife is. Be very careful. So there's our first bit for roasting. So that's our 2 nugget pumpkins done. All the pieces are ready for roasting tonight. Put these in the fridge. Look at that. Beautiful. Pumpkins are in the oven. It'll be a while now. So I hope that was interesting, seeing how the Santoku knife can cut pumpkin really well. It's a quality knife, I thoroughly recommend this. It's not sponsored, but it's a great way of chopping your hard vegetables safely and doing a better, quicker job, which is better all around. So thanks to the 651 subscribers on ecopenny, heading towards that 1,000 subscriber mark. We're going to get there soon. So thanks for watching, see you next time. Ecopenny intro Santoku knife. Santoku. 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 Santoku knife. Santoku. Santoku.